What up, guys? Jason Guyman here, and tonight we're going to talk about why businesses fail in the Christmas light business. I was talking to some people this week. I had people in my class that are successful, and I have talked to people that are struggling, and I want to talk about the kind of things that make people successful versus the ones that are not successful. And so that is my goal for today. And if you have any questions, definitely don't hesitate to ask. But my goal is to help you guys grow your business and be successful, because that is the goal. Because if you're not, then that is a whole nother problem. And so that is why I want to hit on quite a bit tonight of lots of different things of why I see businesses fail. You know, every year I always hear people being like, oh my God, Jason, there's just so much competition starting this year and I don't know what to do and I've got to lower my prices. But what I will tell you is how many people have went out of business last year that did start and went out of business because they don't treat this as a business. They treat this as a hobby. And that is their problem. And when you treat this as a hobby and not as a business, and when you treat this as a way of, oh, it's just extra income and not as a business, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so those are the things I want to hit on tonight. I want to hit on we are in the season. It is time for the season. I got stuff popping up everywhere around here. I don't know what's going on here. And so this is definitely something I want to hit. Man, it's been a long time, but I'm on here tonight. And so this is definitely something that I see in businesses. It doesn't matter if it is pressure washing business. It doesn't matter if it is a Christmas light businesses, but these are the things that I see why businesses fail. And I want to know how to overcome and make sure that you do not fail to these things that become hurting your business. And so the first thing that I see people not doing and not educating themselves, right? I see a lot of people, they worry about the thing. They worry about whatever the thing might be, pressure washing, Christmas lights. They worry about the thing and they don't worry about education. And that is the number one resource that you can do. And so with that, today's book that I'm going to give you is The Ultimate Sales Machine. Because if you don't know how to sell, it doesn't do you no good to know how to do the thing. You can be the best damn Christmas light installer out there, the best dang pressure washer or landscaper or whatever you do, but if you don't know how to sell it, you're going to fail. And I don't want you to fail. Failure is giving up, and I don't want you to give up. If you've already in this business, the only time you fail is when you give up. You know, I always tell people you learn, right? You don't fail, you learn from your failures. And so this is a great book. I've read it about 3 or 4 times. I highly recommend this book. It will help you. It will help you grow your business in the end. So if you don't like reading, I did the audio book. I actually did the audio book and read that book. But the audio book is definitely something that I would highly recommend you to do. So we got My Business is Booming. I love it. I love it, from Jay Johnson. How are you doing tonight, Mr. Jay Johnson? Installs booked every day this week coming up, thanks to Jason. Awesome. Mr. Barry Little with Little Pressure Washing out of Tennessee. Man, it's been a long time, but I'm on here tonight. 100% bingo. Nice to be here. How are you doing? Mr. F-Bomb, what's up, peep? Let's get this $12,000 week started with only 6 jobs, and it's all pressure washing, and that is what I'm talking about. Getting those average tickets up, not doing work for cheap. And so I know tonight is normally my pressure washing night, and I'm going to be talking about Christmas lights, but let me tell you something here. pressure washing or Christmas nights, it's all the same. The reason why people fail in one business is the reason why they fail in the other business. And so I will be hitting on both of why you got to do these things so that you do not fail. Is he still in ICU? And so this is a huge topic that F-Bomb's always hitting on, and talking about David Wyatt. David Wyatt is still in ICU. It is not. Last I heard that he couldn't sleep. Yesterday they said he could only sleep, or I guess his O2 was dropping whenever he was on his back. 2 days ago, it's kind of weird because 3 days ago, right after I had said this, he was on his phone. They had a picture of him on his phone. He had to go in and get some stuff done with his hips. And after he did that night he started taking a downfall, and man, it sucks. And so he could only breathe on his belly and not on his back. So they thought it was his lungs. I'm just going off of what I've read on Facebook from Alex Wyatt. I don't know if that's his brother or who it is, but there is still place for donations. If you look up David Wyatt on Facebook, you'll find out more about him. But he fell, man. So they found out that his lungs are good, but it's his brain. And this morning it didn't sound good. So definitely keep him in your prayers. Put him in your church prayers. If you didn't know, David Wyatt was an awesome dude. He did a lot of gutter cleaning, and he did Christmas lights. And I don't know everything, but the only thing I do know is he fell. I don't know if he was on the ladder. I think he might have been on the ladder. I don't think he was actually on the roof. I think he fell off the ladder. I'm not 100% sure. The way it sounded like he fell off the ladder. He hit the power lines coming down. That did not hurt him, don't sound like. And then he hit the ground. Again, he's an awesome dude, great guy. But everything changed in an instant. I know that it says that he has a wife and I believe he has one kid, one daughter. There is a GoFundMe for it. I will see if I can find the GoFundMe and I will put it up for you. I know that there's some information on there also. But it is definitely something that if you can help out, it would definitely be something that you could do. Again, definitely keep him in your prayers. It is definitely something that is not good. So again, if you can help him out, it's definitely something that I would like you can definitely do. Help a fellow brother out. Again, it is not good. So I do know that they raised their goal. They started at 10,000. They raised their goal to 20,000. They've actually raised their goal to 30,000. Because it's going to be a long process ahead. So I'll put the link in here. Again, this is why it is so important that safety is, and David is not one I would have ever thought this would have happened to. And so it is definitely important that you make sure that you don't do sketchy stuff. Sometimes I've read in the groups of, that's too expensive, or the ladder's too expensive, or the goat is too expensive. But I will promise you, dying is way more expensive for your family, at least. And he's still here, and he's got a long road ahead. So definitely keep him in your prayers. It sounds like he's got some brain stuff going on. That's why his breathing isn't going so well. So again, it is something that I definitely be careful out there, because it can definitely happen to anybody at any time. And it's not something that is just like, oh, there you go. Right. And so, sorry I went so long on this question. I don't want to see this happen again, right? I don't want to see no other people get hurt. I know a lot of times we think that, we can just jump up there and do it and do whatever. And maybe not rent the lift because we can just do it off our 30-foot ladder or whatever, or however it might be. So just be careful. Make sure that you are being safe up there. All right. Knowledge is power. Learning is key. Fail first attempt in learning. Yes, I agree 100%. What's your sales script when prospects ask for Christmas lights? Go buy them. I will hit on that question later after I get done talking here. Any updates on the guy that fell this week? Yep, that's what I just got done talking about. I've let so many jobs go over the past few weeks because people are trying to get the best prices, but not the best service. And a lot of that is doing some of your selling too. I'm coming down to Ohio to help out with Christmas lights. I'm in Pittsburgh. Jason changed my life. A great friend and a mentor. See you soon, brother. Nice tickets, F-bomb. What's the sales script? Pray for Jason in Jesus' name. It's more for pray for David. David is the one for sure. What happened to him? Again, he fell. This is my first year. Would you recommend a door-to-door sales script? Absolutely. That can definitely get you a lot of jobs if you don't have nothing else going right now. If you don't have no money for Facebook ads or Google ads or all of those things. Love David. He's an amazing person. We've been praying hard for him. Absolutely. I know a lot of you guys know him, so it is definitely something that I would, whatever you can give, help him out, pray is definitely something. Is it too late to send out an email blast? No, it is not too late to send out an email blast. In fact, I will tell you to keep sending out email blasts. In about 2 or 3 weeks, send another one out to everyone that has worked on it. Safety is a big deal. Getting complacent is the biggest danger out there. He's probably climbed that ladder 10,000 times or 100,000. And you are 100% right. I mean, all it takes is one thing. Buying equipment can save your life. Shouldn't be a second thought. Poor guy in my prayers. What we do is dangerous, and the reason why I don't push my guys hard during light season. Mistakes happen as fatigue sets in. Stay safe. And this is a great point, right? You know, when you get tired, you get whatever, it can definitely, or you just not thinking a lot of times, and it's definitely something that you got to remember. If someone were to ask how to start a Christmas light business tomorrow, what would be your advice to gain the most money in the least amount of time? I would say go sell jobs. If you got yard signs, go buy a bunch of yard signs and put them bad boys out. You got to get the phone to ring. If you don't get the phone to ring, it doesn't do you no good. Otherwise, I would say go to do door-to-door. Super chat, thank you very much for the sales script. Do you recommend SMS blast as well? Absolutely, I do. And what app? If you don't have an app, Text Magic is a great app that you can do it. It's not that expensive, and it's definitely something that you can do 100%. All right, so let's get me started here on the reason why people fail. And again, this is not just for Christmas lights. This works for pressure washing, any other business that you have. And this is some of the things that I see and why I see it, right? This is why premium pricing is a must. The danger of our work is worth the money. And you know, that's where a lot of people get in trouble because they don't believe that, right? And I agree this 100%. And so the very first thing of why people fail is, you said it, pricing. Right? Because if you only price $5 a foot, Jason, you just can't get that in my area. Pressure washing, you charge 10 cents a square foot. Jason, you just can't get this in my area. I promise you, you are 100% right. You're 100% right. When I hear people tell me that you can't get it, you're right. You're 100% right. Did you know you're right? I'm going to agree with you. You are 100% right. When you believe that you cannot get something in your area, you're 100% right. But if you believe that if you can get it, if you believe you can get $8 a foot, guess what? You will get it, because you know what happens when you don't believe that you are worth $8 a foot? Guess what? Your customer don't believe you either, because you're like, well, Jason said $8 a foot. I don't believe I'm $8 a foot. I can only get $5 in my area. Everybody else I've called only doing it for $2 a foot, $3 a foot. I'm getting at least 5. I'm getting at least 7. Why? Because you don't believe in yourself. And here's the other thing. You know another reason why is because they are selling the bulb, right? When you sell pressure washing, when you sell Christmas lights, you're selling the bulbs, you're going to get $5 a foot. 100% $5 a foot, because when you don't believe in it and you're selling the bulb, right? We use LED bulbs. Oh, we peaked the peaks. Oh crap, that one's not peaked. Oh my, right? Because guess what? Your customers don't care if you peak or don't peak. And you know what? I've had this argument a bunch here, but you know what? They don't. You know what they care about? They care about the memories that they are going to make with their families. That is what they're going to care about. If you believe you can, or setting your mindset to that and not building value in yourself, mentally is a kill factor. Absolutely. Most people give cheap prices are cheap people. And so again, they don't believe in themselves. And so that is 100% correct, right? Look what Chris put here. Most people that give cheap prices are cheap spenders, because you are not your customer, right? You are not your customer. And so this is why it is important that we don't take $200 jobs. You know, and here's the thing. I get it, right? Govee is a huge thing this year, right? Govee, I will have to give it hands down. They have some of the best marketing out there, period. You can't prove me different that Govee does not have the best marketing out there. They're on TikTok. They're selling this crap everywhere. They're selling it at Walmart. They're selling it at Sam's. You can get it for $200. Put up these permanent lights for $200. It's all on an app, and it is just the most amazing thing ever, right? If you don't believe me, go look it up. I promise you, if you look at their marketing, it looks amazing, right? And so this is definitely something that you have to fight, right? You have to be like, awesome, go put it up, right? You bought it, go put it up then. No, you put it up. Well, I'm not putting up garbage, because now my name is on garbage. And so this is why we have to set a minimum, right? You should set a minimum of $6,000, $7,000, $1,000. I know people that have minimums of $2,000. That's their minimum, is $2,000, right? Because this service is not for everyone. You know, this is a luxury service, right? Just like some people drive luxury cars and some people drive just everyday cars, right? And so if you drive a luxury car, that's the same thing. You know, the $20,000 car is going to get you to the same place that the $150,000 car is going to get you there. One's going to be a little bit nicer. One, you're not going to hear the road noise. One is, you know, the other one you're going to get there. You'll hear, you know, and it could be a brand new car. I don't know if you can even get a car for $20,000 now, brand new. Okay, so let's go $40,000 for a brand new car. It's going to get you the same places that the $100,000 car is going to get you there. But guess what? Do you think the $40,000 customer is going to go look at the $100,000 dealership? No, they're not. Do they want it? Sure they do. Do they walk around there and be like, man, this is a nice car? Sure they do. But they're never going to buy that car. And so it's the same way with Christmas lights, right? And so it is definitely some of the things that you have to remember. Remember, when you're pricing and you are cheap and you're going off a price, you are racing to the bottom. And you know who wins at the bottom? Absolutely no one, right? No one wins at the bottom. So quit being scared of charging your prices, right? Start believing in yourself. Start realizing that you are awesome. It doesn't matter if you're doing pressure washing, Christmas sites, whatever business you're in, you are awesome. Because if you do not believe that you are awesome, then guess what? Your customer is not going to believe it. And so I know I get people are like, oh, Jason, you just don't understand. I do. I used to be told all the time, Dallas was the cheapest place. Dallas is cheap. Dallas. I have people making $8 a foot there, doing $250,000, $300,000 a year. And they're in like year 3. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, can you do cheaper and get more jobs? Sure. What's your profit though? Oh, well, my profit, I get cheap lights and blah, blah, blah. Awesome. Do you really know what your profit is? How much does your insurance cost you? How much does your workers' comp? Do you even have workers' comp? Do you even have insurance? Right? Because when you go cheap, usually you don't have those things. And when you don't have those things, guess what happens? Then when you don't have them, then that's a problem, right? And so this is why we charge. F-Bomb up here said that he's got $12,000 on the books and 6 jobs, right? And this is pressure washing, $12,000, 6 jobs. Guess what? That's because he does premium pricing. Now, does he close every job? No, he does not close every job, but that's okay. We don't want every job. When you close every job, that means you got other issues. And so it is definitely something that you have to go out there. And so one of the things that you got to remember is you can't be scared of no, right? No is a great word. You know what no means? No means every no is closer to a yes, right? We know in Christmas sites that you're only going to close 15 to 20%. So you got to get 8 no's to get the 2 yeses. Same way with pressure washing, right? Most guys that I know that are doing a lot, they only got a 30%, 35% close rate, 40, right? So every 6 to 7 no's is the 3 to 4 yeses. And so stop being scared of no. You guys are asking, some of you guys are asking about the door scripts of the door-to-door. Awesome. You know what else is about, about the door-to-door is? You're going to get told no a lot. That's fine. You move on, go to the yeses. You will find it there. So with the Christmas light business, a lot of you, one of the reasons why you fail, or a reason why Christmas light businesses fail, and this even goes for pressure washing, is you treat it as a hobby. Right? You're just as a hobby. You might be a full-time fireman and you're like, oh, I just need it for some extra money. You might be, only doing it on the weekends, and you got another full-time job that pays all your stuff. And so, you know what? I don't need to charge as much because I don't need to make a living off of this. I'm just making some beer money. Well, guess what? What happens when you fall off the roof for beer money? Is it worth it? No, it ain't worth it. I promise you it is not worth it. It is not worth it. So you got to remember that this is not a hobby. And here's the thing with the hobby. Usually they don't have insurance. They don't have nothing, right? And so if you don't set up your business properly and have an LLC, right? Go ahead and have the LLC. Have insurance. Have commercial insurance on your automobiles. Have workers' comp if you have employees. Have a business bank account and not just your personal bank account. Have systems, right? Because most people don't have systems, period. They have systems. They're just not very good systems, right? So here are some of the solutions for the business part of it. Set up an LLC. It doesn't cost that much. It don't take that long. Go ahead and set up your business account for your bank. I will tell you to set up 4 or 5 business accounts. And if you don't know what those accounts need to be, I'll tell you a great book to read. It's called Profit First. Read it. Profit First. If you haven't read Profit First, I highly recommend you to read Profit First. And here's why you do 5 bank accounts. Some people are like, my gosh, Jason, 5 bank accounts? So 3 years ago, I had one of my clients come up to me and he's like, Jason, I did awesome this year. We did like $250,000, $300,000, and we did great. You know what the problem was? Here's the problem. This was April the following year. Guess what happens in April? Can anybody tell me what happens in April? April comes around and the old tax man comes around. and he has to owe $30,000 in taxes. Well, guess who has zero money set aside for taxes? Because he didn't set up a tax account and put 15% in that tax account. So that way, when he goes wrong, guess what? Then you have money to put in here for your tax account. So guess what? This is why it is important that this is why it is important, right? And so it is definitely something that you have to think about of setting up your bank accounts, right? Document procedures. You got a phone, you can document your procedures that way. You can document your procedures that way. You can document it through video, right? You can do video, you can have it put it in AI and have it transcript out, and then you can put that into a document. So that way you can keep your stuff going. And then inspect, right? Inspect what you expect. So if you expect the system to work, you have to inspect it. You can't be like, I put all these systems in place and there's no inspection of it if it's working or not, right? Because things are going to change, right? Things change from day to day. And so these are problems. Equipment and safety. This is one that I see a lot of people, they're like, I can't afford that. You cannot not afford putting in the right equipment, right? So cheap ladders, right? Not the right ladder or the right size. If you're more than 250 pounds, don't get the ladder that only puts 250 pounds. Yeah, I know the 300-pound weighs more and costs more, but is it really worth it to fall off the ladder? Then no, it is not. Another thing of people of when they fail is they're going to go buy cheap lights, right? Buy cheap lights because I'm going to buy cheap lights. Here's the problem, or cheap clips. Here's the problem with that. I'll tell you what the problem is. Then you got to go back and do callbacks because the crap's not working. Well, Jason, I couldn't afford the other high stuff. You're right. When you go cheap, you can't afford to put good stuff up. And guess what happens? Does it really save you money when you got to go back and do callbacks because the crap's not working? Nah, not to me, because I could be, instead of the 2 hours of doing a callback, I could be putting another $2,000 job up. And people don't think about that. They think, oh, it's cheap. By God, it's cheap, And here's the other thing. Buy from suppliers that you trust, right? Or give you value. Have great customer service. The reason why I teamed up with Lights at Wholesale, from Christmas Lights to Lights at Wholesale, is because they have some of the best customer service out there by far. There is not one other Christmas light company that has as good as customer service as Lights at Wholesale. And that's why I teamed up with them, because I want a company that has great customer service. I give response a bit out a lot of times to people to do stuff. Why? Because they have amazing customer service. Jobber, right? Jobber is a one that Christmas Lights CRM. You can go to christmaslights.io/jobber and find them there. Guess what? They have some of the best customer service out there. And so that is things that I look for when I'm going for different things. So make sure that, I heard somebody the other day, they showed them the GOAT, right? I love the GOAT Assist. If you're looking for the GOAT, go to goatassist.com. It's great. You can get a GOAT. You can get it on Amazon. I got it on my tool list at christmaslights.io/tools, but I promise you'll want to get it from the GOAT, the goatassist.com, right? It's like $600. And people are like, oh my God, $600. I'm like, yeah, $600. What's your point? Well, you can get this thing that you can attach to your ladder and blah, blah. Yeah, your ladder weighs freaking 35 pounds versus the GOAT weighs 6 pounds. Which one do you want? The GOAT, right? And so it is definitely something that you have to go out there and get the right equipment. It's one of the most important things that safety gear should be non-negotiable, right? And honestly, I think that we need to get more and more on the safety side of things. And is it going to cost you? Sure it is. It's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you money and getting the right stuff. But is it worth it? 100% worth it. You know, you've got to have a safety mindset, because if you don't have a safety mindset and you're just like, oh, it's just a little bit further, well, guess what happens on that little bit further? Nothing good usually. So it is definitely something that you have to go out there and be safe. And then have backup equipment ready, right? Have backup equipment. Have all the stuff that you need, so that way you have two of them if you need it. And if you don't need it, then that's okay. And then obviously you can get quality lights at christmaslight.io. Just don't put the S on up here. And that's a great place that you can get your Christmas lights. All right. Next one is my favorite one, is marketing. One of the biggest reasons why people fail is marketing, right? They don't want to invest in themselves. People look at marketing as a waste of money. I've heard it so many times. Jason, that's just a waste of money. Or you can look at it as an investment, right? Marketing is an investment. I tell you, if you're going to make $500,000, you need to spend 10%, $50,000, right? 50%. $10,000 or $50,000 in marketing. I know some people think I'm crazy, but I promise you, you're investing in yourself, and it is an important tool that you do. And it's something that, you know, people are like, I'm going to start me a Christmas light business, and I'm not going to do nothing until November. Well, November, you know, we need to start investing in July, right? We can invest in July. We really need to invest in it all year long. Right? If you want a website that's going to rank, it ain't something that you can just buy a website and have it ranked right here at the end. You got to invest in it all year long. And there's a lot of things that you can do that it doesn't cost you a thing, or you can pay someone, right? If you're going to do this, maybe work on your Google My Business all year long. Don't just be like, oh, I'm going to start posting today. Start posting 6 months ago. Now, if you haven't done it, then start posting every day, right? Start posting on your Google business every day, adding photos every day, adding photos of you and your employees and your crew working. Obviously, you don't want to do it on their roof without no harness on, but you can show them putting the lights on the columns and show them climbing up the ladder and doing those things, right? And we're going to post those pictures every day, and we're going to do Google Business Post every day, and we're going to get reviews every day, and we're going to fight for those reviews. We're going to do everything we can to get those reviews. And guess what? That's going to help your marketing out. And here's another thing. You're going to put yard signs out. And you know what you need to do? You need to go like Sam Else and put them suckers everywhere. I mean, everywhere. You know, I seen a post I got tagged in today that they came and took all the signs down. Awesome. Guess what? They're going to put it back up next Friday, because I'm going to put them all back up on Friday, right? I'm going to put more up. I got to keep those city guys busy. I got to give them something to do. What else do they have to do? Sit around in their truck all day and take my money? At least I'm going to let them work for my tax money that I'm paying. At least I'm going to let them go out and have a job. So I'm going to keep them in business, right? I'm going to look at it that way. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe this. They're taking all my yard signs. Great. They need a job. And some of you competitors that are taking jobs, you're just a piece of crap. That's what you are. If you take other yard signs from your competitors, you're a piece of crap. That's, sorry to say it blunt, but that's what you are, right? Put your sign right next to his. Here's the thing. Did you know Pepsi and Coke did a thing that if you just had one Pepsi machine, you only did like half of what if you did both of them? They both did way better, because then it gives them option. Because when they call the other guy sign and he don't answer and you do, guess what? That's how you set yourself apart, because you want that competition of him giving two options. Because if you don't, guess what happens? He's going to call and leave a message, and then they're going to forget about it. And that guy ain't going to call him back anyway. So put your sign right next to him. Don't be taking down their signs. That's the dumbest thing ever. And I know there's people that listen to me that do this, and I'm telling you, quit. It's not worth it to you. I promise you. That is a way of failure, because you have a limited mindset, and that's going to make you fail. It ain't going to make you better. People are so worried about competition. Quit worrying about competition. Competition does nothing other than make you not think about your business. Because when I'm worried about competition, I'm like, oh my God, look, they got yard signs out. Look, oh my God, they're so much cheaper. They're only $2 a foot. How am I going to make any money? I'm going to have to come lower my prices, right? Because you're worrying about your competition, you're not selling you. And when you're not selling you, guess what? That's a problem. And so this is why it is important that we get these yard signs out. Like Sam Yells, he puts out 3,000 yard signs in Indianapolis. 3,000 yard signs. Now, I have one of the guys I coach is in that area. Does he worry about Sam's signs? No. But is he going to do 250,000 this year or more? Yes. Because you can't worry about your competition. It does no good. It does you no good to do this, right? And then, are you working on the systems? Are you working on how to get more reviews, right? Are you working on, do you have your review card? Is that you're at the every end of every job, you're like, hey, give me a review. And if you want to give me a review, you can take a picture of this and give me a review. I appreciate it. I like reviews. I love reviews. Right? And so if you want to give me a review, this is how you get it. And you need to do the same thing to your customer. You know what? In the beginning of this podcast, I should have said, hey, you know what? My goal is to give you something to learn about that you will want to give me a 5-star review. And then at the end of this podcast, I'm going to hold it back up here and say, hey, is there any reason why you won't give me a 5-star review? Did you not get value out of this tonight? Right? Because that's what you got to do with your business. You got to do the same thing. You got to ask. Because if you don't ask, guess what? You're not going to get reviews. And so here's another thing. Are you asking for referrals? Now, with Christmas light customers, do you all think really that a Christmas light customer is going to give you any money, really care about a gift card? No, they're not, right? Not at all. And so think about what they might want. And then here's the other thing. I see this a lot here lately. And this goes for pressure washing Christmas lights. It goes for everybody. Do you know who your customer is and where do they live at? Are you targeting neighborhoods that probably aren't your customers? And a lot of you are. You know, it's one of those things that when you pull into a neighborhood, do majority of them mow their own grass or do they have it mowed? Because that's going to tell you real fast. Are most of these people driving beaters or are they driving brand new cars keeping up with the Joneses? Do they live in and here's the thing, you can get too expensive, right? You can get to the point of being in too high of neighborhoods. So our neighborhoods were anybody from, now this was years ago, 5 years ago, it probably went up a little bit. So we were targeting people that lived in $300,000 to $1 million homes. And so that was our target range in the right neighborhoods. And there was only 3 neighborhoods in Kentucky where I live at, 3 subdivisions, Triple Crown, the city of Fort Thomas, and one over in Fort Mitchell. And all my other ones were up north. That's where I focused all my stuff on the premium customers. And so when you know what your premium customer looks like and you know what your premium customer is, guess what? That's a way that you can do this. So here's the other problem that this is the number one thing that kills businesses. The number one thing that kills businesses is money management, right? Money management. You don't have enough money. You don't have enough money or cash for supplies. You don't have enough money that if something breaks down, something refunds. You don't have zero profit tracking. You don't know if you're making profit or not. And most people, this is the way they run their business. Money in, money out, and by God, I hope I got some in the middle because hope I have some left over. And when I do business coaching with people, this is something that I see way too much. And I get it. It's not nothing fun, but it is definitely something that you have to think about and make sure that you are not doing this, right? Because you're going to get bills coming in. You're going to get different things, right? And so if you don't know what your profit is, a lot of people are like, Jason, I charge $5 a foot. I put the lights up myself and I'm 100% profit. Well, no, you're not, because you got to pay yourself. And if you paid yourself like you would an employee, guess what? You're not in profit. You're just working a job. You might as well go work at Chick-fil-A and make 20, $30 an hour. You're going to make more money in the long run. And so this is something that you have to think about when you're doing this. How does that mask feel with that beard? Hello. Well, I'm not in the fire department, so I ain't worried about it. And I usually wear the big, the super light helmet. And I don't have to worry about it there either. And when I'm scuba diving. So with that, make sure that you're in profit, right? And have cash for emergencies, right? You know, I always say that you should have cash. And if you're hiring people, I always like to have 1 month to 2 months of in my reserves for my employee. So that way, if something went wrong, if I wasn't able to get paid on a job, it was definitely something that I could do. And then, you know, the last thing I want to hit on is customer service. And this goes from answering the phone, not getting the quote back in time. You know how many times I've heard people tell me that, Jason, I've got 35 quotes I need to get out. I'm like, how old are these leads? Oh, it's from last week. I'm like, you might as well just throw them things away because they ain't worth crap. You know, and this is something that you got to remember to get this out fast. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. If you get it out within 2 hours, guess what? It's going to help you out a lot. You will be way better than waiting for that. But Jason, I can't get them out. I'm on the job. Okay. So you're working on the roof while you're trying to do this. You're working a $20 an hour task and you're letting another $20 an hour task go to waste for nothing, right? You spend all this money in marketing and, you know, I know some people that give the quote right over the phone. Like they're able to look it up on the phone right there while they're talking and be like, hey, Miss Jones, you know what? I can do it this way. I can do this, this, and this. But the biggest thing with customer service is answering the phone and doing all the little things. Texting, following up. You know, following up, I would put in as customer service. Even if they tell you no, I'm still following up with them, right? I'm still going to say, hey, you know what? If you have any issues, just let me know and I will come out and do this. And so it is definitely the most important thing that you can do is following up. Because here's the thing that I see a lot of people don't have no follow-ups, right? And here's the reason why you want to follow up. Even with Christmas lights, you might get told no, but I will promise you, if you send an email out and a text out the week of Thanksgiving when everybody else is getting their lights up and they told you no 2 months ago, they might tell you yes. I know the last 2 years I've done it for DJ and I did it and I told a bunch of other people, and most people close anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 by sending an email and a text the week of Thanksgiving to all your past clients that you send quotes out. Because it's important that you send out quotes or send out those follow-ups to make sure people are getting their questions or getting it done. All right, so if you got any questions, I know you guys been talking a bunch in here, doing a lot in here, and I'll see if I can get it here. So let's see. I think I'm about right here. This month, I should hit $50,000 roughly. Build the value and deliver high quality, give great experience, and be confident in you. That last part is the most important part. If you don't believe in yourself, neither do they. No or not my customer is what I hear. Just means to me it's not for them right now. I've had those no's turn to yes. David Wyatt was electrocuted this week and is in, I don't know. They never did say that he was electrocuted. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I'd heard. He really is. Is it a full moon? Hey buddy, what's up, Mr. Joe? I'm going to do Google ads in the better parts of town and give moderate to high estimates to stay afloat my first year. What I would do. I had to buy a $6,000 trailer to do one job and $2,800 for products to take me. Not my business, can just buy new equipment. It's the beard. I don't even know what you guys, I guess when I was on fire earlier. The right equipment is keeping people safe. Absolutely, 100%. 22 hours roughly being paid gross, 546 per hour by 6 jobs average of $1,700. And here's the other thing I want to talk about that too, because if you didn't know, I'll hit on this here real quick. If you want to know when I go live every Wednesday and Sunday. Wednesday is supposed to be Christmas lights. Sunday is supposed to be pressure washing. But with that said, usually on Sundays around this time, I talk more about Christmas lights. But if you want to know when I go live for Christmas lights, you can text the word light, LITE, to 855-619-5483. And I will text you when I go live. That's all I do it for. So if you want to know when I go live, that is how you know I go live. If you have not joined my Facebook group, I have a Facebook group. It has 22,000 members in it. It has a lot of people in it. You can go to christmaslights.io/group, and there you can find the group for sure. Let's see. To alleviate, what was that question? Shoot, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get up there or not. Let's see. Preaching. I put mine right next to theirs because I answer right away. It's the smart thing to do. I need to jump back on these lives regularly. I've had friends and family talk about taking down competitor signs. I told them no. I put mine right next to them and I answer the phone. And you know what? It's amazing how that works, because it works great. I've always been told and have the mindset that 8% is the amount you need to put into marketing to maintain it. If you want to grow 10 to 15 of what the gross is from my 20 years in service business, this may be built high, but then I would agree on that. I know what I would, so, so here's the thing. I do a different approach. 0 on ads, 100-yard signs put out, 4 closed deals from those, $500 to $700 knocked by my team. So that's the difference, right? You're still paying for marketing. You're just paying for it in a different way. You're paying it through door knockers versus paying out the marketing side. And so I know someone had asked the door-to-door script, and a lot of the script is just have fun with it. Right? If you're doing it for Christmas lights, you have your Santa hat on, you have your lights on, and you go door knocking, and it does work. I do know people. Actually, I need to get Eric on. I may try to see if I can get him on either next week or this week. Eric Beck, and that way we can kind of talk about that. 5.5 or 7 gallon for all around pump. I like the 5.5 pump. That 7 pump used to have some issues. All the expensive homeowners always want the price for a very small home. Get real. Well, what are you showing in your marketing, right? Are you showing small houses or are you showing big houses? Because if you're showing small houses, that's what they're looking for price wise. And so that's how that usually works. When I bought my trailer, the guy asked me how I want to pay. Loan click. I just said cash. Customer service is key. What's a good email blast to send? Email's a little bit different than text blast. Text blast is text magic. For email's getting harder and harder. Text is getting harder and harder too. But email is, you could do Mailgun is one. I'm trying to think of some other ones that you could do. I can answer the phone or text another job. I don't do Christmas lights, but I'm listening. Christmas lights are a lot of fun, honestly. I love Christmas lights. If you want to learn christmaslights.io, I got a bunch. I got a bunch on my YouTube. I got a YouTube channel. I even got them on my pressure washing channel. But I love Christmas lights. It's one of the most fun things that you'll ever do. Is it too late to start a Christmas light business? No. I've actually taught Jason Jason Murphy out of Louisville, I taught him how to do Christmas lights. November 12th, he ended up doing 30,000 his first year. Last year he did around 750 or $800,000 in lights in like 3 or 4 years. So it is definitely something that is a lot of fun. I don't do Christmas lights either, just washing. That's because you're in where it's nice and warm. What's the sales script when prospect calls for the Christmas lights? So one thing that I always so first off, you want to hit on who you are and what company you work for, right? So hello, I'm Jason. I am because I'm a human and I'm selling to a human, so that's why I'm going to tell my name first. And I'm with Christmas lights, and and basically they know I do Christmas lights at that point, right? Because I've heard people talk and it's not even fun to talk about what they say because they're not saying it very good. So, and then you can say, "How may I help you?" And they're going to say, "I want to do you do, I want to do Christmas lights, blah, blah, blah." And you're going to say, "Absolutely, I can help you with that." Right. And then the next question you're going to ask one of the questions you're going to ask is, why do you want professional Christmas lights? Do you have an event coming up or something like that? Because what this is going to do is it's going to let you know and it's going to help you sell it. Maybe their grandkids are coming in, maybe they have an event that they need to get it done by. So this is going to let you know when it is. Once you find that out, the next thing you're going to say is awesome. Have you ever had Christmas lights installed professionally before? Whether they say yes or no, you're going to give the same exact answer. And you're going to be like, well, let me tell you how we do it at our company, right? So we come and we make sure that we're going to help you design it. We're going to, especially if you got company coming over, right? Because I know that because I just asked that question. Or grandkids. Awesome. What's your grandkids' name that's coming over? Is it just one or is there a whole bunch of them, right? Because the more information that you get, you can use in this sales pitch right now, because this is your sales pitch when you're doing this. And so basically you're going to go down through and say, we're going to help, we're going to set it up. We're going to make sure that your lights are on. We're going to make sure that they're not hanging off the end. We're going to cut them like a glove, blah, 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 blah. And our starting packages start at $1,000. Does that sound like something that you want me to get you a better quote for your house? Because that lets them know that $1,000. Because a lot of these people calling these houses to get these lights think that it costs $200. And so it doesn't cost $200, right? So that's why we want to sit there and go through that process of our lights start at $1,000. I know some people will say, and most of our average homes are getting about $1,500 to $1,800 worth of lights on their home. And then once you say that, you shut up, because the next person that talks loses. So you're going to get one of two responses. Number one response probably is going to be, "What? There's no way I'm paying that much. You're crazy." Click, right? And you're like, "Awesome. I didn't want you anyway." And then the next person is going to be like, it's going to go quiet, and it might be quiet. It might be get to that awkward quiet sound. And then they're going to say, "Okay, that sounds good." And then you can get their name, email address, phone number, all of that good stuff, and get the quote out within 2 hours, right? Or whenever it is. Now, if you say, "Hey, I will have you a quote in 2 hours," don't send that quote 2.5 hours, right? Because you're already behind the 8 ball at that point. Send that quote out at an hour and a half, and that way you overcame what you said. So you're over delivering already, right? You're already setting yourself apart because you just over delivered on getting that quote out there. And so that's why we want to be able to do that. I just sent 5 rounds to neighbors of prospects that didn't hire us. It cost $4.25. Just washed the neighbor's house for $825. You're 100% correct. If I knocked on 1,000 doors, how many jobs do you think I could get? It's a numbers game, and I don't know what the number is, to be honest. I would be lying to tell you if I did. I do know how Eric kind of told us how he did it and how he does it, but I don't know what that ratio is. And the one trick to it is you're not going knocking 1,000 doors and that's it. So you go into a neighborhood and you knock every door until you get a yes or a no in 90% of that neighborhood before you go to the next neighborhood. So you might be going around 2 or 3 times in that neighborhood knocking as you are going in that neighborhood because you want a yes or a no. You don't want a maybe's fine, but you talk to at least 100, 90% of the people that live in that subdivision. Then you go to the next subdivision because the trick of it is once you're in that subdivision and you get in there and you get a quote here, you can say, hey, we just gave Miss Jones a quote this week, and she's getting lights this week, and we did that, because then you can name drop these people that you've done quotes around there. And that is why it is important that we stay in that neighborhood till we get a 90% yes or no. One way or the other, we're getting a yes or no before we go on to the next one. What do you use for text blast? I would use Text Magic. Text Magic if you don't have anything else. Wow. My closing average is 18% because I don't do cheap work or allow customers to decide on the price that I quote. My price is my price. And he's going to do $50,000 this month. And that's how you do $50,000 a month, because you don't care what people are saying one way or the other. Knocking on 1,000 doors, I would guess it's 0.25%, so 2 or 3 jobs. Then, as you have a presence, you will get in more areas. Then, the more you have as a presence, you'll get more in those areas. I would think you would get more than 2 or 3 jobs on 1,000 door knocks. I would think you would be. I would say. I don't know how many it would be. So that would be a good question to get answered. I don't know, to be honest. Yo, Jason, what a simple formula for Christmas light business valuation. Looking at potential buying someone's client list because he moved. Any advice appreciated? So, a lot of people's businesses are worth about this much. Um, And this is why, because they have no contracts, right? You have no contracts. And basically, the only thing you have is the lights. And most of their lights are junk or really close to junk. Um, the only thing of assets that could also be is what is their website and how does it rank? And how many Google reviews and how does it rank? Those are the things that will make it worth a little bit more. And so I've seen some businesses go pretty cheap, and that is something that you kind of got to look at. I know some people that will do like a percentage, like every job that we sell, we'll give you 10% of that job for the next 2 years. That's another way that you can do it, and it doesn't really cost you anything. Or you can just be like, hey, I can give you this much. The reason why a lot of businesses go out of business is they don't charge enough. And so usually you don't want their customers anyway, because they didn't charge enough to make money and to stay in business. And so that's the other reason why I would just look at it. I'm not saying that it's not a bad idea to grow, as long as, what's their average ticket? How much is it? What are you getting with it? What's their Google looking like? What's all that look like? Well, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the help, Jason. Hopefully one day I can go to your conference. Awesome. If you're not getting at least 30 jobs on 1,000 door knocks, you need to change your sales process. I would probably say that too. I order my safety gear on your website. What's the wait time? Um, it's usually pretty quick. It's usually pretty quick. So, again, if you want to check out more about Christmas lights, I have a blog. I have my YouTube channel, everything, christmaslights.io. If you're looking at, I know some of this is on pressure washing, kingofpressurewash.com is my other one. If you need Christmas lights, definitely go check out christmaslight.io. Just take the S off and it'll take you to the page, or you can go through there and get to the page. I have a lot on this blog here. I got I have a pretty large blog on here, so I give a lot of value and information away for you. If you're needing a website for Christmas lights or pressure washing, definitely go check out here. I've got some marketing stuff. If you would like to do the cards, I can order these cards. I've got the cards. We can get this to you. We sell them by 50. Also, we do the tap cards. If you need any Google Tap cards, I can get you the Google Tap cards. So that way, when you're trying to get reviews, again, you got to get reviews every which way you can. So if you need a Google Tap card that they just tap it on their phone, you need it. We got a bundle where you get both, right? And so it is definitely something that if you need to do, it is definitely something that you should do. Anyone to help me run Google Christmas like Google Ads? Um, I know Zeke does them, but I know he's got a lot of people. I don't really have nobody else other than Zeke. I used to do them, but I haven't done them in a while. I've been running DJs. I haven't even looked to see how they're doing. I probably ought to do more of them. But like I say, I know Zeke does them. I've got another guy, but I don't have his information as of right now. I know he's doing really good for one of my clients. So I agree. If it's 1,000 answers, then when I have knocked doors, it seems like about 5 to 10% answering the door. I was going to say that's probably pretty close to it. The other thing too is what's the best time to knock on doors? And I would say on the weekends, right? Saturday is definitely probably a good day. And then obviously you probably don't want to be in the morning or during the day because unless you're in a place where a lot of housewives are, but that's definitely something that you could do. Good evening, Nick. It's 2 p.m. here. That's crazy. But other than that, I hope you all have a great day. If you join King of or pressurewash.io/SP, that's where I have all my other training and my paid training. And we also do the live Zoom call tomorrow night at 9 o'clock. It's a 2-hour call of people asking questions. It's supposed to only be an hour, and it ends up being about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours. And there's a lot that you can learn there. So other than that, again, we are in the busy season, but please, please, please be safe out there. I get that the ladders, we're using a lot of ladders. We're up on roofs. Make sure you're harnessing if you need to. Make sure you're using the proper PPE. Make sure that if there's snow on the roof, don't get up there. It is not worth you falling off of a ladder. It's not worth you falling off of a roof. Please be careful out there. I don't like having to just please be careful. I know that some of you climb ladders every day, but I promise you it can happen like this. David Wyatt has probably climbed that ladder 1,000 times this year. You've got to be careful because all it takes is 1 second, and that can be the end. You can die from it. So definitely, definitely, please be careful out there. Please. Again, if you want to know when I go live, text the word light, LITE, to 855-619-5483. I would love to wonder what time the live Zoom calls would be here. Could you tell me the time you hold them? So I do them at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Eastern time, which right now it's 10 o'clock because it's been on for an hour. So back it up an hour, and that's when I started it. I do them every Sunday night and Wednesday night. And tonight is Sunday night because I think you're actually tomorrow. So right now, Sunday night and Wednesday night is the lives. You will barely see a ladder on my truck, just only when I need them. Yep, that's why I like it. But other than that, I hope you all have an awesome, awesome, awesome week, and be careful out there. Again, this is go time. Hope you all have an amazing week, and we'll see you all later.